So I've started a new portrait. This is the back of the photograph. The back of the photo I put vine charcoal, and then I turn it over and then I trace the face. And here you can see all of this is the vine charcoal right here. And here I'm using, with a very, very small fine brush, I'm using the blue GPM that had blue paint and umber dry pigment powders. So I'm going to be doing the entire drawing. Let that dry. It dries very, very fast within a minute or two. And then I will begin to paint. I'm going to paint this with milk oil paint, not with CGM. I'm going to wipe off that chalk that's there. This is exactly what Franz Hals, the great master in the 17th century, would do. Then, of course, he was such a master painter, and you would never know that he even used this method. But if you look carefully at his paintings, you'll see a very faint line, not as dark as these, but faint lines like these right here. Those are the ones you'll see in his paintings. I have actually a brand new concept that came to mind early this morning, and I'll tell you more later. To mind early this morning, Sunday, December the 17th, 2023. I'm going to be painting this painting with milk oil paint. Now, milk oil paint requires liquid non-fat milk and dry non-fat milk, and there's a whole video on that on YouTube that I posted. It's my creation, and it's very effective. It dries, thin washes dry in 5 minutes, and thick and pasta dries in 1 hour. And the thought came to me today. So what you have here is I've already taken this and I put several spoons in there. And early this morning, I made glare. Now, you know, you have to push away from this, from the froth, or it seals. It'll seal an airtight cap, and then it'll stop the distillation. So I've been away from the house. Let's see if some more of that froth will distill. But even if it does not, here's the thing that came to mind early this morning. I was going to mix liquid non-fat milk with the dry non-fat milk to make the milk gel. And I thought what I would do is an experiment, and I'm going to actually make, for the liquid, I'm going to use glare. Now, let me stop the camera. So I turned off the camera so I could mix the glare with the dry non-fat milk. This is going to be a focus on glare and dry non-fat milk powder to make the milk gel. And this is what I will mix 50% with my tube oil paints. So here's my limited palette. I'm going to do the mixing of the milk gel with the oil paint. I'll just show you one, and then I'll do the others off camera. Actually, I'll show you two. I just did that one. And the second one I want to show you is the black. So you're going to see that there's no change of color. to the others off camera. So I've mixed the palette, white, black, umber, yellow, red, and blue. I'm going to start off with a gray mixture, which I want to put onto the background. I'll stop the camera. I made a mixture of the glare 50% with water, and I need a liquid that I can use to thin down the paint. So I'm actually painting with black and white right now, and I dip into the water glare mixture for making it a little more brushable. As I do this, I have every confidence that Rubens and Rembrandt, that they all knew about this. There's no doubt in my mind, those brilliant men must have known this. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to start, turn the camera off and get some flesh tints prepared. I've made a little progress, just mixing red and yellow, and the orange underneath, the primer, the ground color, helps. You can just see right there how it peeks through and it kind of unifies. If I had used a gray ground, it wouldn't be so cheerful. So I switched to orange not long ago, but many years ago I had read that Francisco Goya, the great Spanish painter, always started with an orange ground. And that was in the 1800s. And then in the 1600s, the late 1500s, early 1600s, El Greco, he would paint his canvas. He would use a brick red. This is bright red, but he would get a brownish red. And that would always sparkle and add life to his overpaints. So let me stop here again. So I had just finished painting this. The blue is still setting. You can see that. Part of it is dry, and part of it is not. Here's some dry areas. That's dry. It doesn't move at all. And the skin tone, which I just barely put on a minute or two ago, that's pretty well set. Now I have two choices. I can continue to paint with all my colors and mix my colors carefully and then paint. But blending is hard, as you can see. You're going to get an impressionistic look to your painting, and that maybe you want that, and that is good, very modern. But for those that want extreme realism, then you can use this milk oil paint as a fast, dry underpaint. Apply an oil out to that. The CGM oil out is the one I recommend now. And then finish off with oil paints. And of course, you can blend a great deal with oil paints. You can make it look like a photograph if you want. That's never my goal. And so I'm just going to stop right here for a while. And then I'm just going to see what I do next. I decided to continue to paint, and so I decided to use the new CGM oil varnish mixture, which includes oil, glare, and chalk. As the oil out, you can also use it as a retouch. You can also use it as a final varnish. Now, I'll just show you. I put it on. You can see that it's shiny. A couple of small dry spots. And all I had really was this oil rag here. And as I say, you must remove the oil out immediately. It would have been safe for me to wait a few hours to really let that milk oil paint harden. But I just want to paint, so there you are. I'm going to now switch to oil paints. So I set up my palette with I did CGM. I made the CSO first, and then I did something unique. The CSO, I was mixing the chalk and the CSO, and it came up with the idea of mixing the oil out with the chalk, and I made a very thick mixture, which I then mixed together with oil paints. So this is another unique development that I have to explore, because I made the CGM, the CSO Glare Medium, which is a thick mixture, by a different way. I'll explore that more later. So using the prepared palette, I started laying in the mosaic, which is what I call you lay down the values. And then you come up with a dry brush, a bristle brush, and you start to blend the various parts together. Thank you. So here I am after a couple of hours. I finished the portrait. Once again, I'm sorry I can't show you the photo for privacy reasons of the person, but it looks pretty good. Begun with milk oil paint, applied a sealant. I didn't wait long enough like I should, but I applied the REM oil out, the CGM REM oil out, and then I started with, I made the CSO CGM Glare Medium, and I did something new, and I'll write that up later, but for the moment, here it is. Let's take a little closer look. Thank you very much.